Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I start by thanking my colleagues from the Education Committee who took part in the deliberations around our inquiry into STEM in early years education. I'd like also to thank the clerks for the work that they have put into the inquiry, and also the many people who contributed both in providing evidence at committee and through some of the interactions that we did over the course of our deliberations. Particularly, I'd like to thank teacher Tony Scullion, who not only gave evidence to the committee, but also brought along some colleagues to hold a dress code hackathon to launch a report. And we had 10 teams of S1 girls taking part, some of whom had never coded before, but managed to produce some outstanding work on that day. Presiding Officer, this week is Scottish Apprenticeship Week, which encourages our young people to consider where their talents could take them, to let their imagination drive their ambition. However, our committee heard back in March 2019 that young people as young as 6 years old often have a fixed idea of the jobs they could do. More importantly, what jobs were not for them. These preconceptions, regularly based on gender or social circumstance, can limit their aspirations. It curtails a young person's ambition, it hampers Scotland's ability to attract people to STEM-related careers, careers that will be vital to the development of our workforce through the fourth industrial revolution. That is what made the formative years and early years STEM teaching the focus of our inquiry. We visited the Primary Science Teaching Trust Education Conference at the ECC in Edinburgh. Sorry, that's the Glasgow and ECC in Edinburgh, which brought to life the potential of innovation at school level, and the young people we saw on that day had amazing projects and were very eloquent about what they were learning about STEM in school. We also held a workshop at the Scottish Learning Festival to test out some of our findings from formal evidence on a group of around 50 teachers and early years practitioners. And that was at the SCCC. The committee was struck by the volume of groundbreaking work taking place across Scotland. We met self-titled STEM converts, people who had not studied STEM at university or college, but had taken a passion for STEM into their teaching in the early years. Presiding Officer, the challenges of unconscious bias and its impact on gender balance was a recurring theme of the evidence the committee heard, as was the disadvantage of being from a deprived background. Also, ensuring that children from rural and remote areas receive the same range and regularity of opportunities as those from urban areas was also a strong theme. The committee has developed 22 recommendations which align with the ambitions of the government's STEM strategy. A key takeaway was the importance of improving teacher and early years practitioners' confidence, particularly in technology and in engineering. One teacher, Lorna Hay, who has a passion for engineering, rightly outlined that STEM is made of 4 constituent parts: science, technology, engineering and mathematics, and that bundling the 4 together can be a hindrance to identifying the subjects teachers have confidence in and where more appropriate support is needed and could be offered. Some student teachers suggested they could not possibly cover STEM in sufficient detail to feel confident. Once teachers are qualified, the need for continuing professional development was clear. It was important to have more information on the prevalence of CPD in STEM disciplines across the teaching profession. We heard about the advantages of cluster workings, where nurseries, primary schools and high schools can collaborate together to share knowledge and experience. But of course, finding time in a busy curriculum is never easy, and some witnesses cited the inability to source staff cover for lessons as an inhibitor to collaboration and to CPD. A regular suggestion from teachers was that increased non-contact time could make time to for dedicated CPD in STEM areas. We also heard about some of the physical challenges in teaching STEM in schools. We had evidence from Dr. Karen Petrie that internet connectivity is an issue in schools, even in urban areas where high-quality broadband is available. With the growing importance of technology in STEM learning experiences and the need to increase uptake in computing subjects, the committee has recommended that government looks at the extent to which this is an issue. And the committee is always very keen to hear directly from teachers about the challenges they face. The value of interdisciplinary work was spoken about by a range of witnesses, including Professor Ian Wall, previously chair of STEMIC. One of our recommendations to look at the extent to which curriculum priorities such as literacy and numeracy can be taught through interdisciplinary learning. Blocks of time in primary school dedicated solely to numeracy and literacy can be perceived as a barrier to interdisciplinary learning. And given the need for transferable skills and adaptability to respond to the evolving economy, being able to understand how different disciplines interrelate will be a valuable skill for young people moving into employment and allow them to meet the challenges of the fourth industrial revolution. The inquiry also covered women's representation in STEM. We heard from many inspiring women, including Talat Jakob, who is Director of Equate Scotland and was yesterday elevated to be a Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Talat gave evidence to the committee that challenged preconceived notions about how to improve gender balance. She said it's not about changing what engineering, computing or chemistry are, and it's not about making chemistry about making a perfume kit, which I have seen and rolled my eyes at. It's not about changing what science says. Science works the way it works. The difference should be that we should provide spaces in which we can encourage and develop confidence in girls and women. Presiding Officer, I believe I've reached my time limit. So although I've got many more things to say about this experience, can I just thank once again all those who contributed, and I move the motion in my name.